Hello viewers, my name is Tyler Marchand. As you can see from the title, my computer is messed up again. I was working on I worked on the script for this video yesterday, but when I come here this morning, all the progress just been gone. I've really got to get this looked into at some point. So this is and I really wanted to get this video out today, so I'm going to be doing for the third time just going through this completely silent, no music clips, but just my descriptions of the songs. And today, as promised, I'm bringing you my picks for the best hit songs of 1965. I really liked 1967 and 1966 quite a bit, and this is another year that other critics have said is pretty good for music. To an extent, I agree. I say to an extent because my list has the minimum 14 songs to talk about today. But then again, these are just the 14 songs that meet the 8 out of 10 threshold for me to make a best list. Believe me, if I were to extend this criteria to 7 out of 10s, then the list would be probably about twice as long. This is the year after the Beatles broke out in America, and while they had a fair number of hits, they wasn't as much as I thought they'd have, considering all their momentum that they're bound to have in 1964. But their influence extended beyond them as British invasion came in and brought in a lot of new Britpop to the charts. Some of it wasn't so good. Some of it was actually pretty pleasant. Alright. Before we move on to the honorable mentions, I'm going to say that You Keep Me Hanging On by the Supremes is going to be my pick for the regretted omission from last year. I just really like the song. I mean, admittedly, I do kind of have a bit of a soft spot for the Kim Wilde cover, maybe controversial, but this is just awesome. Okay. The first of the 4 honorable mentions for this year is All Day and All the Night by the Kinks. This is an interesting song as it's been pretty influential throughout the 60s because it's got a pretty recognizable guitar riff that they claim the Doors plagiarized for their hit song Hello, I Love You. Dun, 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 dun. Hello, I love you, won't you tell me your name? Yeah, and the Doors actually just folded on that lawsuit. But another hit song from the Kinks especially that really sounds familiar to this is You Really Got Me, which I mostly know through the Van Halen cover. May Eddie Van Halen rest in peace. Anyways, this is a good song, and check it out if you don't know it. Honorable mention number 2 goes to 8 Days a Week by the Beatles. This is a pleasant sounding song from the Fab Four. A love song, basically, based off of an expression that they got from a cab driver who feels he's been worked too much, says he's been working 8 days a week. So this was turned into a love song, and it's really sweet. I like it. Honorable mention number 3 goes to I Got You Babe by Sonny and Cher. This is a really common thing that I am seeing with a lot of the greatest love, a lot of good love songs of the years. They tend to get dated just simply by the fact that later on, the person that it's being sung about, often I should rephrase that. It's often doesn't really age well, these types of songs, because oftentimes one person writes this for another, but then later on they wind up getting divorced, splitting. So that's kind of doesn't age it well. That's what happened with this song Sonny and Cher wound up splitting 10 years after the song was released, and which puts it in the same mold as other love songs like Billy Joel's "Just the Way You Are," and I'll even throw in Blake Shelton's "God Gave Me You." But even if you take that out of context as just a simple love song, I really like it. Sonny and Cher play off each other nicely in this tale about defiant young love. I dig this. And finally, my last honorable mention is called "The In Crowd" by the Ramsey Lewis Trio. That is probably a very fitting title for this song, as this is an instrumental track that sounds like something you'd hear at an upscale jazz club. One where probably only the most elite of the elite can get in. Therefore, this is the music of this instrumental takes you to that type of environment. You feel, oh wow, I am at the top of the world. The world revolves around me. This is one of those types of songs where it just transports you there. Even if you're dirt poor, once you hear this, you'll feel fantastic. I really recommend you listen to it if you don't know what I mean, and you'll find out what I mean. Okay, those are my 4 honorable mentions. Now I'll go on to the top 10 list. My number 10 slot is going to "I'll Be Doggone" by Marvin Gaye. The first thing that caught my attention when I was listening to this song was how part of the instrumental sounds very similar to the Beatles' "Here Comes the Sun." It's one of the it's one of those, that type of instrumental that I heard here. Anyways, this is a really nice love song from the Motown legend himself, but with an actual twist. He's saying he'd do anything for this girl. However, instead of being doggone if he doesn't try to please her, if he finds out that she's cheating on him, he'll be long gone. That is yet another classic from this guy who was taken from the earth way too soon. This type of songs really make me wonder what he would have done if he had lived beyond sexual healing. Number 9 is "Help" by the Beatles. A lot of people, younger people, will probably recognize this song as it has been featured in quite a few iPhone commercials over the past as a theme song for the ad. Well, more than 55 years before it became an ad, this was a major hit from the Fab Four, and there was more to the song than just that little snippet that is played for the ads. The song is actually John Lennon. Well, it's a call for help, obviously, but it's mainly a call for help based off of how quickly the Beatles rose to fame. Because, like I'll probably get to, in 1964, the Beatles were an overnight thing. They just blew up over the course of a second, and then everybody wanted to be with them. I remember seeing the I believe it's an Ed Sullivan type video for "I Want to Hold Your Hand," where lots of young women are fawning over the boys, only for a commentator to say, "Sorry, they're married." Anyways, yeah, but that's part of the thing of what happens when you are big fame. Your private life, as you know, just disappears or vanish in the haze. That is just really like this song. Number 8 is "My Girl" by The Temptations. So, Smokey Robinson's and The Temptations are legends. I probably don't need to tell anyone that, but if you really need proof, this song is probably the best example of that. This is, I'd say... Sorry about that, my phone went off and I just caught it out of the corner of my eye and had to check it, so sorry about that. Anyway, so, yeah, this is probably The Temptations' best known song, and it is a staple of love songs at weddings, proms, the whole 9 yards. It's just from the beginning you get that fantastic Motown introduction with bass and hand claps, which is really revolutionized the music industry in that part of the country. Really fantastic stuff. And while on the topic of other fantastic songs that have become legendary in the music world, number 7 goes to Unchained Melody by the Righteous Brothers. A lot of the songs you'll probably notice are all probably love songs in which you would think that they all mesh together, but one of the strange things is that even though a lot of these songs have pretty much the same subject matter, they all sound so uniquely different and classic in their own right. This is probably one of the biggest classics of them all. When I look at what did we just play tabs for my local AC station, they have this as the oldest song that they put in rotation on there. Although, then again, this song did have a bit of a resurgence in the 90s as a soundtrack song, but anyways, this song from the Righteous Brothers is just absolutely ephemeral to listen to. It's just gorgeous blues instrumentation, and the two singers are just, wow, it's just heavenly to listen to. When hearing this, it really makes me think of songs that I didn't put on my best list before that I really should have. One of them is like Tear Us Apart by NXS, which had to have been inspired somewhat by this song. This is just flat out gorgeous, and if I hear it while I'm out and about, I'm going to enjoy every second of it. Number 6 is California Girls by the Beach Boys. More than 40 years before Katy Perry had her own California Girls song glorifying life on the West Coast, the Beach Boys had their own hit of the same name. Well, if you don't count the different spellings of girls in the two songs, that was actually conceived on an acid trip of all places. The song has a pretty interesting verse-chorus structure where they contradict each other. They are all saying how Brian Wilson here is really saying how all girls from all around the country have their own perks, but none of them match up to those from the West Coast. This is one of the best rock songs of all time, and I can see why. It is. I definitely take this song over the Katy Perry one. The Katy Perry one, I wouldn't say it's bad, but I just really don't have a reason to listen to it. This, I have a reason to. Number 5 is I Can't Help Myself, Sugar Pie Honey Bunch by the Four Tops. This song was very nearly the number 1 song of the year, or would have been, if it weren't for a fluke that has only happened 3 times in Billboard history, where the number 1 song of the year was a song that never actually topped the charts. There was a twofer that happened recently in 2001 with Hanging by a Moment by Lifehouse and Breathe by Faith Hill in 2000, but the first such instance came in 1965 when Wooly Bully by Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs took the top spot over this one, despite this one peaking 1 slot lower than the Four Tops' classic. Now, Sam Sham and the Pharaohs hit. It is an okay song in my opinion, but I really think that I Can't Help Myself, Sugar Pie Honey Bunch deserved to be the superior song. Yet another love song in this year. Yeah, you noticing a trend here? This one is one commenting on how life is sweet with this with this woman and how he just can't help himself. Sorry about that, my phone went off again, but this time I forgot to turn the volume off. Anyways, this is another one of those songs that you recognize instantly once it starts playing, because it's got that piano progression as it leads into the verses that I'm pretty sure everyone knows. Number 4 is Ooh Baby Baby by Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. This is not the only song on this list that Smokey was a part of. He had another group around this time called The Miracles, and this song wasn't as big as The Temptations' previous hit. In fact, it just barely squeaked on to the bottom of the year-end list at like 93 or something, and only barely peaked in the top 20. But it is this group's most well-known song, and this song was actually covered by Linda Ronstadt as a hit in 1979. This song has Smokey Robinson trying to rebuild a relationship with his girl after he's been unfaithful, basically asking for her forgiveness. This is something that I've heard lots and lots of times before, and these songs typically do not go down well, as there are times when there is insincerity reeking from the artists. This is not one of those. Smokey Robinson just has one of those voices where you can instantly tell he's sincere, and I feel it's a really nice song. I can't lie. Number 3 is You've Lost That Love and Feeling by the Righteous Brothers. While in the long run, Unchained Melody was the signature track for this duo consisting of Bobby Hatfield and Bill Medley, who most people know of as the male voice in the Dirty Dancing song, I've Had the Time of My Life. This song was the biggest at its... You've Lost That Love and Feeling was the biggest song at the moment. It was a top 10 year-end hit, and this song, and I thought that I really liked Unchained Melody. This is just super gorgeous. You can hear the heartbreak in both singers' voices as they're lamenting that a relationship seems to be coming to an end. It is one of those... Their voices are just so naturally bluesy, and I can't help but have feelings whenever I hear this song. It's just that fantastic. I really wish I hear it more. I hear it going forward. Maybe I will, since I know what to listen to now, but in the meantime, my number 2 goes to I Can't Get No Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. There are lots of rock songs out there about lust, and this is probably one of the most famous ones. Pretty much, I'd say up there with INXS's Need You Tonight. Find it interesting. That's the second time I've brought them up over the course of this video, which is interesting. And I can't really call it... I say this is all about lust. You can't say this is about love, because if you were to say this to someone that you love, they're not gonna be happy with you. Anyways, you've heard the expression of something coming to you in your sleep. Well, apparently there's legend that this riff for this song literally came to Keith Richards in his sleep. It's just one of those funny things that you kind of read about when researching these songs. And there's even some deeper meaning to the lyrics in this song, as Mick Jagger is basically ranting his frustrations about the world at the time. Now, this seems like an obvious candidate for my number 1, but it's not. My number 1 goes to Like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan. Rolling Stone has this as probably the number 1 rock song of all time, and, well, considering I think that the magazine had to have gotten its influence, part of its influence from this song and, of course, the band The Rolling Stones, even without them really trying to suck up to Bob Dylan. It really is well deserved as one of the best rock songs of all time. Fantastic folk instrumentation that really puts you in the mood. And the interesting thing about this song is that this is actually, if you read into the lyrics, it is a diss track about a 1960s socialite and Bob Dylan lamenting on how she got to her situation. Now, it is a long song, clocking it over 6 minutes, which meant that back in this time, since most songs were less than 3 minutes long, in some cases less than 2 minutes, this meant that people were hesitant to play this, but it wound up becoming a monster hit. It very nearly topped the charts, but was kept off the #1 spot by the Beatles' Help. After the choruses, those little harmonica breakdowns are it's just fantastic to listen to. Listen to it for yourself, and you'll see why I have Like a Rolling Stone as my pick for the best hit song of 1965. Well, that was my list. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, share with others so that I could grow my channel. Subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of new material or notifications in general. And as always, leave your comments in the comments section down below. Agreements, disagreements, I don't really care. It could be whatever, just as long as things remain civilized. Alright, my next video is going to be, I anticipate having my next video, my picks for the best hit song of 1964, Beatlemania year, out on Sunday, November 15th. Normally, this is when I would sign out, but I'd really like to give a message to anyone, to the few people who may be watching this video. Exercise your duty and vote in the general election. If you're not happy with the result, that does not give you a right to burn down the city. No matter what happens in this election, I'm going to be at peace with it. I just ask that you, as the viewer, are at peace with it as well. Anyways, until mid-November, I'm Tyler Marchand, and I'll see you later. Take care, stay safe, and I want to stress this again. Please just, whatever happens on Tuesday, just accept it and move on. It's not worth destroying the country over. Goodbye.